Over the weekend, the Green Party elected Annamie Paul as their new federal party leader. This is the Great White North Report. Alright, on to the Green Party, that fifth place party that has no real bearing on any Canadian elections. I think they have, 2 seats in the House of Commons, and they won somewhere like 6% of the vote. So Elizabeth May, she was stepping down as party leader, and they had an election to vote to see who would win. And they voted Annamie Paul, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. She becomes the first black permanent leader of a major federal political party. I don't know how major this political party is, considering, you only got 2 seats. You're roughly pandering to the 5 or 6% of the far left that don't want to vote NDP. So I don't know how major that party is. But anyway, let's take a look at this. So she's a Toronto lawyer, so that's good. This brings to a close a year-long race to replace Elizabeth May. Now, she's black and Jewish, 2 things you don't usually hear about in the same sentence, but there are black Jewish people. It's not a big deal. That actually has no bearing on me. I couldn't care if she was white, black, brown, purple, or green, or if she was Jewish or Christian or Zoroastrian, Hindu, or whatever. She raised the most money of $206,000 and racked up a number of endorsements from former Green Party candidates. She was born in Canada to Caribbean immigrants and claimed victory with 12,090 votes against her closest competitor, Dimitri Lascaris, another lawyer and self-described radical and eco-socialist, with 10,081 votes after 8 rounds of voting. Jesus Christ, I'm glad she won over this guy. Now, there were 23,877 Green voters to cast a ballot, about a 69% turnout. It's not a lot. So Paul is one of the more moderate candidates who contested the leadership, ran a robust environmental agenda that she says will help Canada fight climate change, which she has called an existential threat to human life. Now, I do agree that climate change is a thing, but I also have to remember that we're between ice ages, and that we're not the biggest polluter in the world. So she claims the other parties are simply out of ideas, they're intellectually exhausted. This is the moment that demands daring, courageous leadership. That is something we simply didn't see in the last speech from the throne. I only heard empty words. Yeah, I agree with her on that. For me, Trudeau is just a panderer and not a very forceful person. However, I don't think the Green Party is a better option. So she ran under the Green banner in the last federal election, but placed a distant fourth behind former Liberal Finance Minister Bill Morneau. No, she's a distant fourth in her own riding. While she didn't win, she managed to grow the Green vote, okay? And she's already nominated to run in the October 26th by-election in that riding after Morneau's abrupt resignation. Another black woman, former television personality Marcy Len Yin, is running for the Liberals. So obviously they're trying to pander to black voters. They're all in the name of diversity and Black Lives Matter. But this lady sounds pretty good. She's born in Toronto Centre. Her mother taught in the schools in Toronto Centre. Grandmother worked as a frontline service worker in the hospitals of Toronto Centre. Broke her back doing it in the process. I will not abandon the residents of the Toronto Centre to a Liberal Party that has neglected that constituency, that riding, for the last 27 years. She's had enough of candidates being parachuted into that riding and taking the next train out of town until the next election. That's true. A lot of times what you'll have is you'll have a star party candidate who needs a seat in the House of Commons. They'll go to the safe riding where they can win no matter what. Even though they don't really belong to that riding, they'll go there just so they can win the seat. It's happened before. It's one of the things I don't like about our elections. I think that if you're going to run for that area, you should actually have lived there for a certain number of years, either past or present. Like, you should know what it is, that riding, instead of being dropped in, win that seat, and then never come back. So she wants to strengthen the existing federal carbon tax, which is something I am opposed to, because the carbon tax hits Canadians who are working. Until they have an electric car that's cheaper than the gas guzzling car, not going to happen. I'm not going to support any federal carbon tax. Just call for a carbon border adjustment, a tax on imported goods based on how many emissions were associated with producing those goods in countries abroad. Yeah, right, you're going to get the Chinese Communist Party to give you actual numbers and facts. That's a pipe dream. National ban on fracking, a controversial practice used to unearth oil and gas. Said the country should curb mining, a practice she has called wasteful. She has promised to go further and faster and to push to reduce emissions. The problem is mining is one of those things that we need to keep our economy going, and also on the trade market to keep us competitive. She's not going to win any votes in Alberta for this. She wants to tackle the systematic racism in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Why does everyone think the RCMP are racist? I have a friend in the Royal RCMP. No more racist than the next person. You might find the odd racist policeman, but other than that, they're mostly pretty decent people. And they go through a lot of checks and balances there. Establish a citizens' assembly to begin the process of introducing proportional representation in Canada's voting system. So basically, if you get 6% of the vote, you're going to get 6% of the seats, is what she's saying. Well, that's not how it works. You know, especially when you have so many different political parties. It's usually the first, whoever gets the most votes, they get that seat. I'm sorry, but you can't have parties start aligning themselves. What we need is a reduction of political parties. Keep it down to 3 or 4, not 6 or 7 as you sometimes see. Implement a guaranteed livable income. Again, a lot of people aren't gonna want to work if you do that. And the cost of living will go up and mediocrity will set in. A universal pharmacare program among other progressive policies. The problem with the universal pharmacare program is it's very expensive and not everyone uses it. A lot of what she's saying, the Green Party is basically a far left socialist party. They're so far to the left that they have no hope in hell of ever winning an election. I hope not. That'd be scary. They want to build a complete social safety net that allows every person in Canada to live in dignity and security, and how we tackle the existential crisis of our time, which is the climate emergency. First of all, she forgets that people are people. There's always going to be someone who's going to hate. She wants a more inclusive society. We believe it can be done. Inclusive, eh? It's not inclusive enough as it is. Okay, so her nearest competitor, Lascaris, where is he in this picture? Dimitri Lascaris, this guy right here, ran a platform to push the party to the far left of the plan to defund the police. Another social justice nut, and create a society in which police are unnecessary and can be abolished. Yeah, that's right. He's looking to build another Somalia. Good. Dramatically decrease military spending. It's pretty much on a low compared to other nations. What we need is increase to replace what we haven't replaced over the last 20-30 years. Implement a wealth cap to do away with billionaires in Canada. That's just Bernie Sanders talk all over again. Another Marxist socialist. I'm glad this guy didn't win the Green Party nominee. But maybe he should have, because then they would have got killed in the next election. The minute you implement a wealth cap to do away with billionaires in Canada, they will take their money and go elsewhere. They will not invest in Canada because they're the ones who can invest in Canada. I love how they put easily the most racially and ideologically diverse group of candidates to compete in the federal leadership race. That means absolutely nothing to me. That's just social justice warrior talk. I want a strong leader, not a racially and ideologically diverse leader. I don't care what race or color you are, as long as you're a strong leader that looks out for Canada with Canadian values. So, Annamie Paul is a graduate of Princeton University, University of Iowa. What the fuck's a Gigi? Subject of racist and anti-Semitic attacks during this campaign. Well, I don't think she'll get too many votes from the Muslim community, that's for sure. At a virtual town hall, commenters use the N-word several times and refer to her as the effing Jew in a live chat. Like, that's too bad. Like, I support Israel myself. So she's fluently bilingual in English and French. And she made a direct appeal to Quebecers to back the Green Party. That's good that she speaks both languages, but the Quebecers are more conservative than anything else. There's a lot of, will back the bloc. They're a national party. We need to win seats right across the country, particularly in Quebec. Not going to happen. So she's worked as an advisor in the International Criminal Court in The Hague and as a political officer in Canada's mission to the European Union in Brussels. So she does have international experience, I'll give her that. So she has big shoes to fill with Elizabeth May, who was basically a pain in the ass, who lobbied the broadcast consortium, basically blackmailed them to give the Greens a podium and the chance to pitch a left-wing environmental agenda. Like, I do agree that there's a lot of environmental issues. For myself, I want to see mining communities clean up after they're done. And they should be fined big time if they don't. Pipeline, I think, is a necessity. I'd rather see a pipeline than an oil tanker, to be honest. Pipeline can be more easily maintained and watched than, say, an oil tanker going abroad. May's inclusion helped the party post its best electoral result ever in the 2008 federal election, capturing 6.8% of the ballots cast. Mainly the Green support is around the BC area. Climate change is a real thing, but the natural resource sector is an important part of Canada. We really need it. So anyway, that's my look at the Green Party of Canada. I'll never vote for these guys. They're too far to the left, and a lot of things they want to do will bankrupt Canada and bring us down to the status of a second level country. Any fellow Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think of the Green Party in the comment section. And until next time, this has been the Great White Myth Report.
Today I got a government check. Am I gonna get drunk? Oh yeah, you bet. Gonna paint the town red till the money's all spent, then blame it on the government. I quit my job, why? 'Cause it stunk, but I still get a check twice a month. I sit around on my ass.